Yeah, so here we go again. It is Friday. The time is let me see. 21 to 7 in the PM. I got up real late today. Then I went by my former place of internship with the intent of doing some writing. Didn't get any done, so that's kind of a bummer. Did manage to take several pages of notes yesterday. Practice my penmanship. So at least I wasn't unproductive the entire time. Yesterday I was a bit low energy, so I didn't talk to myself. I believe. Not 100%, but still. At my former place of internship, I did ask the chief bottle washer, in German Mädchen für alles, if I could borrow in the loose sense, if I could have some connectors for spade connectors. This is the kind of switch my dash cam use. Up here in the front for the dash, it's my kill override switch. And I don't want to be sticking wire just through here. I want it done proper, so I got myself these crimps, which fit perfectly. So I'll be able to make it so I can hot swap the switches, which I guess is better than nothing, that's for sure. And the only thing dodgy is I might have to bend these crimp connectors because I don't think there was that much clearance below, but cross that bridge when we get there. Yesterday I did manage to play a fair bit of video games. Today I actually did something very adult in my book, which is I'd done a bit of meal prep. Yesterday I believe I had 14 cigarettes, today I'm already sitting on 9. But both with driving to my former place of internship and returning from it, I have not had a single cigarette on the way. The only cigarettes I had was one in the morning before getting out of the flat at the kitchen window. And while there, because it's socially inadequate in a professional environment or semi-professional environment. I'm not there professionally, but odds are I will be again in the future. Smoking hemp is still not tolerated, and I think for that very reason, because the smell of hemp is too stigmatized in the society, I'm not going to be substituting tobacco, which means not buying more than one carton of cigarettes last time I was across the border was a bit short-sighted of me, I'll have to admit. I'll manage, but that was very short-sighted, so yeah. With my writing, I actually have at least 10 pages I can write at this moment. The only problem is the cohesivity of those 10 pages, because they basically be entries in a facts book. With citations. I did actually manage to find some citations yesterday and so on. But I still have to make it a flowing text. I've decided I'm going to define terms at the beginnings of chapters. I believe I may have mentioned this last time I talked to myself, but yeah. And I've started with the basics. So what is art? What is video? What is video art? What is physics? What is applied physics? What are phenomena of applied physics? Next question I'll have to answer, which I'm confident I'll be able to quite easily, is what is a motif and why is the plural motifs, and how does one see those? Surprise, they are up to the viewer, depending on interpretation. One can also say they are dependent on the intent. I believe they can be both. Same as I believe art needs either a human creator or a human consumer. You cannot have a tree fall over with no one seeing it in the sticks and call that a piece of art, because you can't call it anything because you don't know it exists. It's kind of very odd with the academic working and so on, but I'll manage. I did ask the head of my former place of internship whether I could borrow a practicable for the time I'm going to be out of the land. And they said, oh, no worries, we gotcha. I was fully aware odds are they wouldn't be booked because it's not a grip department rental, it's a lighting facility, with some grip attached to it. But that also means the grip is available most of the time, you know. While there, I did procrastinate effectively. I couldn't get into the right mind for reading or writing. So I had a look at a couple of power supply / controllers for a couple of lights they intend to sell that they recently acquired in a big batch of things together with a load of other things. And those were the two that ended up not outputting with signal with testing. The display on them work, and the LED panel work, but the power supply / control module did not output for the light panel to work. So had a look, no shit stains on the PCB or anything, so I think it's beyond my doability. I'm not going to do full-on diagnostics unpaid, but realistically whoever buys them is going to be happy for the spares, to be fair. So, you know, could be worse. In the end of the day, I really like doing that. I think I got to look out, not that I believe they do, but you never know. I think I got to look out that people don't think I'm being taken for granted. I don't know. I guess I won't be, because I'll be gone for a couple of weeks, not that long. Won't be in the land. Interestingly enough, the German term land can be territory, land, country, state, many things. When I use land in the English language, I'm using it to refer to a German state, which are referred to as Land and Länder for European legislation, even in the English language, which is why I'm using the term land, because that's a singular Länder. It's funny how language works, I guess. I did play some video games yesterday. Joke is I still went to bed before midnight, and yet I didn't manage to get out of bed this morning. I was fully awake at the time to get out of bed. It was like this, I guess it's executive dysfunction, I'm not sure, but it's this absolute paralyzation, just lying there not being able to move. It's in here, I know that much. But I think it's just because I got a fuck ton to do, and I have a hard time deciding which one of them to do. So then I decide, effort, I'm gonna turn around and go back to sleep, just because the only one I am disappointing by doing such is myself. Because at the end of the day, I'll still do everything in time that require external world, that the external world require of me. There we go. It's just I'll have a worse time doing it due to this, and that's kind of a bummer, because I know I can. I just got to do it. Joke is I'm not even diagnosed with ADHD. I only have a 3/4 diagnosis, because the questions of I commonly misplace things, and or not questions, but the statements of I commonly misplace things and I frequently miss appointments. My response to was no, because I have a system. And apparently no, because I have a system equates to yes, so in the test one needs to answer yes if the answer is no, because I have a system. No, I have a system is simply the adult version of yes, because coping mechanisms, you know. But the diagnosis procedures haven't figured that much out, so it should be a spectrum. No, yes, and then the totalitarian point of no, because I have a system for it, just beyond yes. Then again, that might bias the outcomes, though it might make them closer to reality. How would I know? I am not a mental health professional. think I'll actually replace the switch today. Odds are I may. Sorry for not warning you, but I'm turning you on your side. Look out. I need them from the glove compartment. There we go. And now you're back up, right. Tomorrow I got a minor screening for the uni elective, during which hopefully the acting parties for my piece, No Curry for Old Men, as I've called it now, will be there, which means I'll be able to get their blessing to put it on the interwebs, in which case I will put the video from unlisted to public. It's not my proudest work, but it was not bad, and I'm happy with the post-production I've done on it, so, you know, what's the harm in showing it to the world? I'm sorry for being somewhat preoccupied. I've just decided I got to try to remove my dashcam switch now, so that's what I'm doing on the side, because apparently I cannot wait 5 minutes or half an hour or an hour. Watch me hurt myself. No, better not. Don't. There we go. Managed. Because the pry tool I am using is a knife. Surprise. Yeah, currently it's just wires wound around, I believe. Unless I already did. That's not looking... it's just wires wrapped around the connectors and the bottom. For illustrative purposes. Don't have a wire, but it's just wires stuck through these. With heat shrink round, which does do the job. I mean, it still has continuity, otherwise the camera wouldn't have power. The only problem is I'm pretty confident that switch had given up the ghost, because even when it's off there is continuity, which shouldn't be. That's not how switches work, actually. Sounds just as satisfying as these. I mean, they're Chinesium, but they are really pleasant to actuate, you know. I would love to say I'm hoping to get some more writing done once I'm home, or get my kitchen more organised or so. But odds are I'm either going to play video games, watch videos, or go to bed. Or a combination thereof. Don't know how I feel about it, but that's the way it's going to be, I guess. I have not smoked on my way into town and out of town thus far. Tobacco, that is. Because I did manage 2 nights ago to pre-roll some blunts. Rolled them to the same size as active cigarettes, so there we go. And they're all crooked. Because my filters are not the same diameter as the rest of the blunt. So, another thing I found out is apparently Americans call these joints. They're not joints because they do not contain tobacco, and I am not American. The rest of the world apparently calls a joint tobacco and grass, but it's not a joint because it don't have tobacco as a blunt. And yes, it's not wrapped in a tobacco leaf, but that don't matter. Well, I guess for Americans it do. That's the funny thing about language. Though we live in a globalised world, things which I guess are not discussed in the public forum can still be limited in their definitions. It's just because, surprise, starting to become decriminalised in the US of A, I believe, or have been for longer than here, to be fair. But federally is still illegal over there, which means people don't talk about grass on the interwebs. And here was a taboo for longest time culturally, so, you know. Which means I guess there is a higher potential for differences in language between American and English. Just because of the subject matter. That being a mostly illegal subject. Sorry for being preoccupied, as stated previously. But now I've started it now, God. Joke is I'm not even going to have the crimp connector to put on here, because I want minimum some pliers, and I do have some in the car, but I'm not going to use those because I want proper pliers for that, which I do have at home. There we go, this is the bad switch. Presumed bad switch anyways. I never actually tested just the switch, but what other logical conclusion could it be if it has continuity even if it's off? It's the only thing connecting the wire, so you know. There we go, now that's labelled. Barely visible. Actually, that looked not so good. That looked almost like a half swastika. I assure you, it is not a half swastika in real life. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Anyways, so I believe I'll have to do my writing, and I'll have to really get my arse in gear and act like the grown-up I look like. I'm not looking forward to that, to be blunt, but you know, can't change it, so got to accept it. And that's just the way it is. Anyways, I hope you are acting as adult as you look. Or more, I guess. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess less can also be healthy for the mind. Who knows? I am not an expert on such a matter. But I'm going to end this here. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching. I'll see you around. Cheerio.